You know what's interesting about really successful people? They tend to collect things. Some collect cars, others collect watches. Drake? Well, Drake decided to collect square footage, a lot of it. Picture this, 50,000 square feet of pure architectural ambition sitting in Toronto's Bridle Path neighborhood. That's not a house, that's a small village that happens to have one very famous resident. Today, we're taking our time walking through what might be the most carefully thought out celebrity home in recent memory. And trust me, there's a lot to unpack here. The neighborhood. Let's start with where this palace actually lives, the Bridle Path. Even the name sounds expensive, doesn't it? Like someone sat around thinking, what should we call this neighborhood where driveways are longer than most people's commutes? This area has been Toronto's answer to Beverly Hills for decades. We're talking about a place where your neighbors might include business tycoons, international entrepreneurs, and apparently one of the best-selling music artists of all time. Drake bought this land back in 2016, just a regular plot in an already exclusive area. Then he spent 3 years turning it into what architectural magazines now call the Embassy. And honestly, that name fits better than you'd think. The property sits on 2 acres. Now, 2 acres might not sound enormous until you remember this is in the middle of a major city. That's like having a private park that just happens to have your bedroom in it. Getting here isn't simple. There's a gate, then another gate, then probably a third gate we don't even know about. Security isn't just tight here, it's practically philosophical. It asks the big questions like, who are you? And no, but really, who are you? The exterior. The first thing you notice about this mansion isn't actually the size, it's the materials. This isn't your standard brick and mortar situation. We're talking about limestone, lots of limestone, the kind of limestone that makes architects nod slowly while adjusting their glasses. The architecture pulls from Beaux Arts style, which is a fancy way of saying it looks like European classical buildings had a baby with modern engineering. High ceilings from the outside? Check. Symmetrical design? Absolutely. The kind of proportions that make you wonder if ancient Greeks would approve? You bet. There's also bronze, so much bronze. The details, the fixtures, the accents. If you told me there was bronze in places bronze has no business being, I'd believe you. The driveway could host a car show. Actually, it does host a car show, considering what Drake parks there, but we'll get to that later. What really gets me is the attention to detail on the exterior. Every window, every column, every decorative element looks like someone spent weeks deciding if it should be there. This isn't a home that was rushed. This is a home that was meditated upon. The grand entrance. Walking through the front door is apparently an experience, and I say apparently because, let's be honest, most of us will never actually do this, but based on what we know, it's quite the moment. The foyer features a chandelier, but calling it a chandelier feels inadequate. It's more like a crystal meteor that decided to hang out in Drake's ceiling. The thing weighs multiple tons and had to be installed by specialists who probably have chandelier installation as their entire job description. The floors throughout most of the main areas, marble, and not just any marble. The whispered rumors suggest it's the same type of marble used in certain luxury hotels that charge more per night than most people's monthly rent. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all this opulence, the design actually feels cohesive. It's not a random collection of expensive things. Everything seems to be in conversation with everything else. The colors, the textures, the proportions. This is where we should mention the architect, Faris Rafali. The man has a reputation for creating homes that don't just cost a fortune, but look like they're worth every penny of that fortune. His approach seems to be, if you're going to do something, do it so well that people question whether it was necessary, then immediately conclude that yes it was. The hallways are wide enough that you could probably drive a golf cart through them. Should you drive a golf cart through them? That's between Drake and his marble floors. The great room. Every proper mansion needs a room where you gather for great purposes. Drake has one. It's called, appropriately, the Great Room. The ceiling here reaches heights that make you wonder if clouds ever drift through. There's a fireplace, but again, fireplace doesn't quite capture it. It's the kind of fireplace that has its own gravitational pull, the kind where you stand in front of it and feel like you're in a castle, except the castle has excellent Wi-Fi and climate control. The furniture in here isn't just furniture, it's art with a capital A. Custom pieces that were probably sketched, debated, revised, and then built by craftspeople who signed their work. What I find amusing is the television. Even in a room this grand, there's still a TV, because at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to watch something. Although I imagine Drake's movie nights are slightly different than the rest of ours. Better popcorn budget, for one thing. The windows in the Great Room overlook the backyard, which we'll get to shortly, but the view alone probably adds a few million to the property value. You're looking out at your own private landscape, perfectly manicured, probably maintained by a team of gardeners who take their work very seriously. The kitchen. Now, you might think, does Drake cook? That's not really the point. The point is he could cook extensively for a small army if needed. The kitchen spans an area larger than many studio apartments, multiple islands, multiple sinks, probably multiple opinions on the best way to prepare eggs. The appliances, professional grade. We're talking restaurant quality equipment that could handle anything from a light snack to a full holiday feast for 50 people. There are ovens, plural, refrigerators, plural, dishwashers, plural. The countertops continue the marble theme because once you commit to marble, you really commit to marble. There's also a breakfast area that casually overlooks the grounds, perfect for morning coffee while contemplating your success. What strikes me about this kitchen is that it manages to feel both impressive and functional. It's not just for show. Someone could actually work in here, create in here, maybe even enjoy being in here. Though I suspect Drake has people who do most of the cooking. Just a hunch. The bedroom. The primary bedroom suite is where things get really personal. This isn't just a place to sleep. It's more like a luxury hotel suite that never asks you to check out. The bedroom itself features a bed that's custom-made, the mattress, the frame, everything designed specifically for this space. There are balconies, multiple balconies, because sometimes you want to step outside and contemplate the city from one angle, and sometimes you want a different angle. The closets deserve their own documentary. We're talking about walk-in spaces that are bigger than most bedrooms, climate-controlled, obviously, organized with the precision of a luxury boutique. Every sneaker has its place, every jacket has its moment. And the bathroom? Let's just say it has a tub carved from a single block of black marble that weighs thousands of pounds and had to be lifted into place by a crane. The shower is covered in mosaic tiles that probably took artisans months to install properly. There's also a champagne lounge connected to the bedroom, not a minibar, a lounge for champagne, in case you wake up at 3 in the morning and think, you know what would be nice? The amenities. Here's where we get into the really specific choices. Drake didn't just want a home, he wanted a compound that meant he'd never need to leave unless he absolutely wanted to. There's a gym, full-size, professional equipment, probably better than most commercial gyms you'd pay monthly fees to access. There's an indoor basketball court, regulation size, because sometimes you want to shoot hoops, but sometimes it's also raining, and why should rain stop you when you have 50,000 square feet to work with? The record studio in the basement is reportedly world-class, soundproofing that makes the outside world completely disappear, equipment that costs more than most cars. This is where actual albums get made, where ideas turn into music that millions of people will eventually stream. There's a massage room, a sauna, a steam room. The wellness section of this house could function as a spa that people would pay good money to visit. And then there's the pool, but we'll save that for when we talk about the backyard. The garage and cars. Let's talk about where Drake keeps his vehicles. The garage isn't underground, it's not tucked away, it's a statement. The space can hold multiple cars. How many? Enough that you'd need to make decisions about which ones to drive on any given day. The collection includes some expected choices and some interesting surprises. There's the Rolls-Royce. Actually, there might be more than one Rolls-Royce. When you reach a certain level, apparently one Rolls-Royce isn't enough. You need options.
Bentleys make appearances. Ferraris have been spotted. There's reportedly a custom Mercedes Maybach that cost about as much as most people's houses. Each vehicle is maintained perfectly, detailed regularly, and probably driven less than you think. What's interesting is that this collection isn't just about having expensive cars, it's curated. Each vehicle serves a purpose, fits a mood, makes a specific statement. Some are for cruising, some are for arriving, some are just for the joy of knowing they're there. The backyard. Remember those 2 acres we mentioned? Most of that is the backyard, and calling it a backyard feels wrong. It's more like a private resort. The pool is heated, obviously. It's also massive. You could do actual laps in this pool, serious swimming, or you could just float and contemplate how you ended up with a pool this size in Toronto. Around the pool, there's a full entertainment area, outdoor kitchen, seating areas, spaces designed for hosting or relaxing or doing whatever you want when you have unlimited outdoor space that's completely private. The landscaping is museum quality. Every tree, every shrub, every flower bed placed with intention. There are walking paths, different areas that serve different purposes, pockets of garden that feel like separate rooms, but outside. There's even a sports court area, because the indoor basketball court apparently wasn't enough. Sometimes you want to play basketball outside. These are the kinds of problems you get to have when you've sold millions of albums. The lifestyle. So, what's it actually like to live here? We can only imagine, but certain things become clear. This isn't just a house, it's a headquarters, a place where life and work blend together because everything you need is within your own walls. Want to record music? Walk downstairs. Want to work out? Different room. Want to host friends? You have options, many options. The staff required to maintain a property like this must be significant. Cleaners, gardeners, security, maintenance crews. This is essentially a small operation disguised as a home. Keeping 50,000 square feet looking perfect isn't a casual undertaking. But here's what's interesting. Despite all this excess, Drake apparently lives here, actually lives here. This isn't just a showpiece he visits occasionally. It's his actual home base, the place where he retreats from the world, creates new music, hosts the people who matter to him. The privacy aspect can't be overstated. In a world where being famous means being constantly visible, having a place this secure, this removed, this completely yours must feel like a sanctuary. $100 million, 50,000 square feet, countless custom details, imported materials, and architectural decisions that will be studied for years. Drake's mansion isn't just about showing off wealth. It's about creating a specific type of life, one where everything is exactly as you want it, where you never have to compromise, where your home becomes your world. Is it excessive? Probably. Is it impressive? Absolutely. Does it make you wonder what you'd do with that kind of space and budget? Definitely. At the end of the day, this mansion represents something bigger than just expensive real estate. It's a statement about what happens when talent meets opportunity, meets vision. And apparently what happens is you build something that makes other mansions look like they're not really trying. Thanks for taking this slow walk through one of the most talked about homes in entertainment. Whether you're inspired or just entertained, either way works.